now. Now that we've gotten all that sorted stuff out of the way, just want to show you something here with this system to kind of be aware of. When this gets to be oversold, there's a tendency for people to think, okay, it's going to go long, it's going to go long, and it really doesn't go long until we get to this 50. That's something to pay attention to because a lot of times people would have taken this or this as a long trade and it would have
Mm-hmm.
gone nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so remember, as long as this is under 50, your bias is going to be short. Uh, you got that? And
Yep.
then when this cracks 50, like I said, it doesn't crack 50 often, but when it does, and I showed this yesterday, when it does break 50, you see you've got a nice sustained downtrend now. And now when it breaks to 50 here, you've got a workable uptrend you can make some money on. Let me swing this over here.
Interesting. When you first said that, when it first cracks 50, weren't you
Oh,
changed
zip. Oh,
your you changed your verbs there, right? Were you still in the old mode?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. I just caught that. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. And then we close below 50 here. Let's just clean it all up. We close below 50 here, and as you can see, we've got uh, a nice established downtrend. Now,
Yeah.
you could certainly take these closes here on the red candle, on the appropriate colored candle when
Mm-hmm.
you get it. So, like when this closes, that's a red candle. Boom, you take this short. All right, you've got your 10, 15 pip stop, which would be up here somewhere, and you certainly got your one to one on that. Very similar here. You've got your 10, 15 pip stop is down here, and there you got 10 there easily. All right, and I'm assuming like a 3 pip spread because on average I'll trade between 6 pips and 2 pips on the spread. The same
Okay.
thing here. You take this one at the close below that, and you've got 10, 15. 15 is right up here near this little shelf, and obviously you made your one to one if nothing else. So those you could certainly take advantage of also.
Good
Uh,
stuff.
yeah. Now the other thing, delete, is how to trade these turnarounds. And I'll show you this. I was going to do a separate day on it, but we'll, touch on it for a minute. When this gets overbought like this, there are significant drawdowns, and there are sometimes the beginning of that complete turnaround. Uh, but the trick is you don't know when that's going to occur because you can get faked out on that. If you look down here, we're oversold here, but we never really got a long signal. Way oversold here, never really got a long signal. If you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's why I keep the bias short this whole time because we're below 50. So all of this is short.
Mm.
All right. So what happens? Here's one that's kind of textbook, and I don't like picking textbook, but it just happened to work out that way. What I like to look for, I look for two things, and they both have to be there. The first one I look for is some divergence, which we have here. All right. That would be from this candle to that high. All right. And if I go down here to the corresponding candles, we see we have the divergence here, number one. Okay. Then number two, more importantly, is a clear trend line break over the last two humps, as I call it.
Mm.
You see, you connect those two pumps. And now if you look where that occurred, I'll put it here. If you look where that occurred, I'll do it on the red candle. When you get that trend line break and divergence, you could take that counter trend.
Mm.
Okay, so let's go back and look for another one. Now, here you don't really see a divergence. Let me cheat this up a little bit. And I'm using a 2 because it happens to be incredibly quick. See, I don't have a divergence here at all that I can really work with. All right. But if I wanted to try to take this in sight of the, if I want to try to take this as a counter trend, I do at least have my trend line break here.
Well,
All
I
right.
see divergence too.
Well, hang on. I'll look for it with you. And that would
All right.
be the last two bumps right here or right here. Because if you're here and you don't get a green candle, then there's nothing going on. You know what I mean? And just like we do with the 1889, we move it over to the next one, and now we've got our green candle here.
Okay.
All right. And so from this point to this point, you do have some divergence. You see that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Okay, okay. I was looking more out here for a larger one because it's easier to see. Sometimes the small ones, when you're new to this, they may be difficult to pick up. So that
Okay.
would be from this point, and it's only like a three candle divergence, but it's still divergence because here prices are flat, and here clearly the market is going up. Then you take that, all right, as a counter
Question.
trend. Yeah,
Yeah. So your on your 34 stochastic, that is you're using the main line only, right?
yeah. Let's go take a look at it, and you can tweak it. Okay, I just as I mentioned with moving averages, I don't care what moving averages is. If you stick it on a chart and study it, you can trade off of it. Because some people will tell you the 48 is the king and the 200 and the 50 and blah blah blah, and then
Yeah.
they make terrible decisions when price gets there because they haven't thought that part of it out. Someone just told would just say, oh yeah, you don't know how many people have told me the 48 is the strongest moving average in trading,
Yeah.
and I've seen no evidence of it that it's any stronger than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so parameters 3433 low high simple. Colors, the main is none. The signal, which is the faster of the two, is the one I'm
Oh,
using.
I see. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me just do the small one also. Um, come on. Maybe it doesn't do it down here. Oh, there we go. On the now here, I'm using the slow one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's 211, and you could move this out to a three. By the way, I did this so we would because of the time frame the time constraints, I should say. I wanted to get a lot of opportunities to trade, so this would be better off as a three if you wanted to stretch it out a bit. And as I said, I like to use this on a 15-minute chart. But a 15-minute chart, we don't get that many opportunities. Colors, okay, again, main, and on one of them, you add in the 50 level. Okay, on either one of the two stochastics, you add in the 50, so you've got these three. So going back to this example I mentioned earlier, a lot of people say, no, this is oversold, get ready to go long. And you can see the market clearly didn't agree with that. All right, might not, see how many pips it is. Okay, that's nine. That would have certainly been a nice 5 pip winner with a 3 pip spread. All right, so again, the market is not saying that this is going to go short, or the indicators are not saying that, is what I should say. So when this cracks that 50, then you can look at an opportunity to take long trades. All right. So now the what we'd be looking for now would be divergence, but we don't have any because if I look at here, it would really be more this point. So I don't see a clear divergence yet, and I don't want to make one up. You got me? But those are the only times that I'll take a counter trend trade is under those conditions where I've got a trend line break and I have a divergence. So I just want to find a couple. Let's just pick a pair and we'll go look at that. Anybody? Don't everybody yell at one time.
You broke up there. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, pick a pair and we'll look for some more of these counter trend divergences that we can trade.
All right. Here comes the test. Euro New Zealand.
Okay, Euro New Zealand is where the hell is it? I don't think we have Euro New Zealand in this grouping.
Okay. Well, then pound CAD. You're up there.
All right, pound CAD is right here. All right, so we're looking for the same type of situation here. So I'm looking from here up to here, I'm looking for divergence here. So I see do have a little bit of divergence here. All right, where this is essentially flat, okay, tiny bit up, but certainly not as dramatic as this. All right.
Hmm.
And now if I connect the last two humps or arrows, if I can connect the last two arrowheads like this,
Right.
come on. Oh, that's close enough. You get the idea. And if I follow that up, we've got a nice short trade right in this pocket here. Any red candle after that, okay, you can take a short. And this is a twin tower also.
Mm.
In this case, if I was doing a binary, I'd have to double up on this one because this one would have lost. I double my bet and then take it on that one. But you see the same things. We've got our divergence, all right, and we've got our trend line break. All right, let's look for another one here. Let's see if we have a long one here. All right, so we're going. This is going short, short, short. No divergence here, so there's nothing here to trade. And I prefer that they were really obvious. Here's a pretty good one here, where if we look from this peak here, all right, and this is why this thing should be at 3 because I'd rather catch it from here. But from here to here, prices have definitely gone higher. Let me mark that. And yet at that same 2 points, we're essentially flat right here. And if I take the last two arrowheads and connect them,
Hmm.
oh, I keep forgetting this won't go all the way up. And then if we look at where that cross happens, it happens, I mean, you can't ask for any better than that. Okay, and then you can certainly take that short and then, go for a 1-to-1 with risk reward. And usually your stop would go out of the swing high because once that divergence is set, prices tend to not go back up there. It will happen on occasion. You will find a trade that you might that might not pan out, but you know that's trading. You can't. Let me get rid of this. I'm just looking for another one. So first thing I like to look for is a let's look for a divergence long here, and this is higher, so I need to see prices going lower, and we don't. So there's no divergence here. All right, nothing here, and you see how this got oversold, overbought, and stayed there.
Hmm.
And everyone would be telling, oh, this is a cross down, take it. No, you don't take it. You don't necessarily take it. If you want to take that counter trend, I have to see everything else line up perfectly. All
Okay,
right.
so do you want to also then use the trend line on the stochastics to get into the longs?
Um, I don't know what you mean. Let me give you control so you could show me. Keyboard and mouse. All right. What time is it?
Okay, so um, for instance, uh, here to here. Okay, so this is a trend line break, and we have this green candle is closes and is green. Well, I said green, huh? And so then would this be also potential long?
Absolutely, yes. I didn't get into the trend lines just because with the trend lines, you don't necessarily have to worry about this long-term stochastic.
Well,
And
yeah, but I mean, since the stochastic is way in the oversold, overbought zone, I just wondered if this would be a potential trade, which is also
oh yeah, absolutely.
kind of gets you in actually a candle early, right from the typical 1889.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't actually, because the typical 1889 would be the last two candles, remember? It would be right there. And this candle opened on the other side of the trend line.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you'd be
Okay,
in right there.
so it's the same deal.
Yeah, it's just what visually works for you, what mentally works for you.
Uh-huh.
That's why I have several different systems, and I've done my 100 trades. I've done way more than 100 trades on this, so I'm really really confident about this.
In fact, if I had drawn this line properly, it may not have,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to, there
Yeah,
we go. It may not have,
I'll do it because I think I know what you want to do. You want to put it out there, right?
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't have, actually it wouldn't have worked
Yeah, it
on
would have
that.
been on this candle. And again, two is set really tight,
Maybe.
but that's because we're trying to look for things in an hour and a half span.
Hmm.
Okay, let's see if we have a divergence up here. And again, we go this two is tight, but this peak to that peak we're going higher. And again, I'm working off of the peaks on the off of the here we go. From this peak to here we're higher. I think this red one is it. Okay, or this green one. But again, here we're essentially level. You see that? And if I draw my last two, let me draw this. This is essentially, even if I drew this out to the little bit high, this is so much, it's much more of a dramatic move here. And if I connect my last two arrow points through here and here, all right, and follow that point up, you see at this red candle, after the divergence is set on this red candle, we're good to go. You see that?
Okay, I'm not seeing the divergence.
Oh, I call this basically even.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's, for me, that's pretty much even because it's just barely nothing there. And
okay,
and so I drew it out correctly just to be honest about it. Say, yeah, this is slightly up, but this is much, much more dramatic. And I've got the combo. I've got this trend line break here.
okay. And so on the trend line, I mean the divergence line on the top, why did you take it clear down to that
Because
non-high?
I follow the stochastic peak.
Oh, okay.
I follow the stochastic peak. Let's just see if we have something here for a long trade. Um, and okay, so this is the stochastic peak. This is going down from this point to this point, and it's doing the same. Okay, I don't really have a divergence here that I can really base a trade off of.
It's
So
not divergence that right there at
yeah, from
from
here to
here.
here, maybe. Yeah, well, this is a peak, right? From here to here. It's kind of subtle. I prefer the ones that are like in your face, obvious.
Oh, yeah,
My own personal preference, but that is from that peak to this, we are actually from there to there, we go lower on the indicator, but we're going higher on price.
yeah. So that's negative divergence.
Right, but I don't have a 2 points to draw a trend line in.
Okay, so what I was talking about, I guess of the mouse here, yeah. So would be from here. Let's see. No, actually, well, okay.
Yeah,
Well, anyways, what I first saw was like from here to maybe here. Well, that's pretty close. Okay, come on. Right about there. From this bump,
yeah,
this,
yeah.
and
Match it
then
to
this,
the candle,
yeah, something like this.
but that's not matched to the candle. That's the key. You got to match it to the candle.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that matches this bump with this bump. Or no, it doesn't. So no,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And again, that's the quirky one. I like them when they're really obvious.
Sure,
You
sure.
got to start doing that much thinking and looking. Just go to a different pair. That's always
Mm-hmm.
the best way to do this. Just go to a different
Okay.
pair.
All right.
All right, let's take a look at one more pair on this, and we'll take a look one more pair and a different time frame. Any suggestions?
Come on, Nancy, you haven't said a word yet.
Oh, I see she snuck in. Hi, Nancy. How are you? She might be away from the computer. Phil, you want to offer a suggestion?
Sure, we'll do the Eurodollar.
Okay, what time frame?
5 minutes. Or
Okay,
we do 15 because we were just doing five.
all right. So we're on a 15. So here's a turnaround point here. So I'm going to match this point, and I have to match the highest point. So that would be this point down here, all right, to this point up here. And we don't get a trend line break for a while, but I'm going to draw that in. Okay, see that? So I'm matching this point. Um, where were we? Here. That low candle in there, and I'm matching it, I believe it is to this point, which is this candle. Okay. And if I do my last two um, points would be here and here, like that. These would be the last two based on where this stopped. And at this point, I'd be looking for a break of that trend line, which we get here. Close of that candle. So we'd be short here. And with a 15 pip stop, might have got popped on that one. Okay. And that wasn't like a great one, but I'm just trying to grab whatever I can just to show you the premise. And I prefer, and again, this is set fast at the three, at the two rather.
Lou, you don't have Forex Broker Inc. open, do you?
Yeah, I sure do.
Because do you want to check out that Nasdaq future I was showing you yesterday?
Sure.
Oh, before you do that, could you, I missed, I mean, I see your trend line. Oh, never mind.
I'll come back to it.
All right, all right.
Um, what do we have in here? Let me file. Just to go new chart and indices. DAC, U.S. market, Nasdaq. Okay.
And
And
you don't have that still the same template, do you?
no, stock times two. No, I don't. But it's easy enough to create. Let me just put a I'll do the 1889, put on there, and then I can just delete these and add the Stokes. Um, okay, insert indicators, oscillators, stochastic, and we are at 211 simple colors. This one we're using the main, so this will be no color, and I'll make this. I don't know what colors I'm using on the other one. I'll make this one red, and then insert indicators, oscillators, stochastic, and my parameters were 34, 313, was it?
Hmm.
Someone,
Or is
That's
it
right.
13.3? It's 13.3.
okay, 13, and then 3.
Yeah.
And this one I'm using the signal.
Yes.
I'll make that blue. Um, and this is no color.
None.
And levels, I need to add a 50. So let's add a 50 in here. I'll do it on this one. And I want to make that visible. So I'll make that navy blue and I'll make it solid line on this one. Ah, doo-doo. Suppose the ladies on top of each other. Uh,
Watch
yes.
your.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and in order for me to lay it on top of each other, I actually have to grab this one. Um, I have to grab the onboard. It won't do it with the other ones. Ba, 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 ba.
Uh, no, I did get it to do it with the onboard one.
Yeah, well, sometimes the other ones, the custom made ones, for some reason don't code out right.
Uh,
Oh, and levels. We got to
oh,
add
sorry.
scripting.
Never mind what I said. I was talking the wrong stuff.
Okay, and we'll make those blue and make them a solid line. What did I do? Oh, I changed the one that was on the chart. Let's do this again. Oh, and this one is the fast one. Yeah, that's the 211. Oh, they're both 211, so I just need to change one. Uh, Indicators list. Uh, one is a stochastic oscillator, the other one's a stochastic. One is the onboard. Parameters, this will be 34, 13, and 3. Okay. So what is it that you want us to be
Alright,
aware of?
on the 5 minute,
Okay.
and then at current time, I feel like what we're talking about is currently happening.
Meaning, oh, a
Um,
divergence?
yeah, and then
Okay. So yeah, we match that divergence to this, and that matches this high. That ends up quite nice right there. Everything's the wrong color here now. Make the trend line blue. Okay. And then if we take the last two arrowheads and then we follow that cross up right there, we could be in right here for a short.
yeah, that's where I jumped in for a little bite. I know the Nasdaq's not open yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, a little pre-market action. Okay, I'll take a small bite on this too. Um, there we go.
Alright,
It's Forex Broker Inc. This is not, our main.
yeah.
And let me just bring this down to this level right here as a take profit. Okay. And let's put our stop up here at this shelf right here. I know these shelves have not been my friend, but I'm going to stay with them for the moment. And you see how tight that is. Nothing got above that high. All of these candles. So that's pretty good. Where's the thingy here? Let me see what this is all about. I don't even know what this number was, but we're making money. But thank you. So that was that whole complete scenario right there.
Well, you barely made it in time, Lou.
Well, yeah, well, I did. I barely made it in time, but the whole setup was there to see that that's when I would take a counter trend trade.
Yeah, I
And it
just
had,
wanted to double check that that was right and show you and whatever.
yeah, and it was, and good eyes, you know. But that's
Yep.
when you see it, you pull the trigger, and when you pull the trigger enough times, you'll get a feel for when you shouldn't. And it's the only way you'll learn that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there right now. I'm taking too many bad trades, but my good trades have been good, so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a learning process. But again, this was the setup, the divergence, clear divergence, because that was easy to see from there to there, very, very easy. And we connected the last two arrows. Let's blow this up a little bit. We connected the last two arrowheads rather, and that was our trend line break. We could have gotten in up here, but from where we were, it was worth a shot. And what did we make? Like $30, I think. I don't know how this we made $38. Okay. I took some other trades, experimenting with another system here. That's what all that is. Um,
So on the trend line break on the stochastic, it must be the last two arrows.
that's usually what I go for. And if you listen to Tom DeMark, he would call these, if this was on the chart up here, he would call them the last two supply and demand zones.
Okay.
But I find the last two give you the most recent, most current information. So
Right.
to go back too
So
far,
if there
it's kind of old data.
was no obvious arrow, then that's no trade, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's got to be
Okay.
obvious. I mean, it's like right there. There it is. Everything is set up.
Mhm.
And this has to be Picasso. I mean, no, this has to be Norman Rockwell.
Oh, no. Okay.
All right. On these, I want Norman Rockwell. On a Head and Shoulders and some other stuff, okay, I can go a little Picasso on it. You got me. Here's another one down here, as a matter of fact. If we go here, now these are lining up pretty well on here. Maybe I need to double check my settings. But here you see we are slightly downward, uh, lower here to here.
Hmm.
All right. And now if we look at the corresponding spots on the oscillator, we're going slightly upward or flat. Oh, let me put the line in. We're going
Yeah.
slightly upward or pretty much flat.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what's missing here?
The second arrow to draw the.
Excellent. Yep. I don't have any place I can put a trend line break. Okay. Technically, it would be this point right here. It's not an arrow, but where this thing turned up, that would be the fulcrum.
Right.
You got me? So then on that next green candle, I could take a shot at that. But
Well,
that would be the only way I would do it.
that might be. That might make. I mean, it would have made sense. So that may be another way, maybe, to look at this.
Yeah, but again, after the fact is easy. That's why I prefer, a much more of a Norman Rockwell look to it.
Sure.
It's all got to be clear because remember, this is a corner. That's a point. It's not a stone cold arrow, like I like. But that is where that price stopped and then made the turn. So, it's kind of like these. Woody calls these a Batman. No, maybe he doesn't. Somebody calls these a Batman. I can't think of who it is. This sort of up and down thing.
Uh,
Looks like Batman's ears.
yeah.
And this is called half a Batman. No, this is called the drunken Batman, and then there's one called a half a Batman. Yeah,
It looks like drunken Batman.
yeah. So, and the idea here would be when we that point where you'd want to take a short there, right when this second ear forms and when it closes past this center.
Hmm.
All right, similar to a Head and Shoulders. That would be
Hmm.
the point. Then you'd want to take a short here, but it's good for scalping. But I don't particularly use it anymore because I'm looking at other stuff. But it does have its merit, in the right time and place. And here's a what do you call it, upside down Batman, and this is where you would get the long. I don't know if you would have got in here though, because this probably happened after the close of this candle.
So we could just call these down here like this up where. Oh, sorry, this one here.
Yeah,
We call that, since it's upside down, just call it back guano.
back guano.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. All right, but
Hey,
thanks for that trade, Phil. That was very good eyes, and you see how everything played out just right. So that was cool.
Yeah, no problem. Did you see that the Barclays is getting fined 150 million
Oh, for what?
for Forex? I heard that they weren't, and I was wondering if that's what was happening to you when you were trying to get out of your close a position and then it wouldn't let you close it. I heard that
Oh,
they were messing with that. Like if it wasn't in their advantage, they were messing with that to where they weren't letting people out of trades and stuff like that. I don't know.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at that at all.
Yeah, so I guess they got a $150 million fine for a Forex probe. It says a couple days ago.
I didn't see that, but I'll investigate and look for it. But again,
Yeah.
the other thing that happens with some of these forex companies, and I tried to tell people about it, was don't take a trading course. If FXCM offers you a trading course, don't use it because they're teaching you where they want you to put your stops, so they
Yeah.
know where they are. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that they're
Yeah.
that clandestine about it. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you get what I mean. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're that, uh, I don't want to use the word evil, that manipulative is the best word, but it would certainly make sense. You know, if I teach you where to put your stops and we start playing poker, I already know where your limits are. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't have
Yeah,
to
for
hunt
sure.
you. You know, I know that the entire group will be up here somewhere. You know, that sort of thing. So,
Which makes me think these guys don't really know how to trade, right? They got to be manipulative.
well, it's a market where they don't necessarily need to know how to trade if they have the capacity and the dollars to move the market. If you're the guy that's going to make a market go short, you don't need to know how to trade. You just need to call your people and say, listen, go short it at, 2202.
Yeah.
You know, that's it, because they're going to dump it. When I was um, investigating, working with Oliver Velez, he has so much liquidity in the stock market. Or at that time, I don't know what he's doing now, but his commission was 2 cents round trip. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, but that's because he's bringing massive volume to the market.
Yeah.
But he also said he had so much liquidity that he would challenge you and say, give me a stock and give me a candle, and I can make that candle on that stock. So, like, if
Oh,
you
wow.
wanted to say, well, listen, give me a doji on Apple, he would know exactly pretty much how much to buy, how much to sell to counter what was going on out there, and you could end up with a doji. Or, give me a bullish engulfing. He'd know exactly what to do in his own orders because he was beyond level 2, and I can't think of what the name of the platform was he had, but he could see what was going on in the market, so he knew exactly where to push and pull to make any candle he wanted.
That's why the stock market scares me.
Excuse me?
So that's why some stocks scare me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and the other thing too, sitting in a couple of trade rooms, I was fortunate enough to get invites, to a couple of places, and on certain stocks, like the same guys, the same big dogs trade them every day. And certain traders can tell by the order size put in exactly who that person was. And they know from having watched them trade over a number of years, they know exactly when that person wants to pull out of that trade or when that person's going to split their trade. They may not know the why of it, because they can't see that guy's chart. So they can look at the way the orders come in and they know exactly who's doing that, particularly on a stock because there's only a limited number of shares. It's like the Forex is almost unlimited liquidity because countries generally don't go out of business. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they'll merge, the way the euro became a merged currency. So it's almost unlimited liquidity. And there's no one player big enough to move the market consistently day in and day out. They may be able to have big influence on it for a day or so, that kind of thing. But oh, it's the Nasdaq. I'm wondering what's going on, but the stock market must be close to opening. Yeah.
A couple minutes. So, in your research on this kind of stuff, have you been able to draw any correlation between something else you mentioned, like uh, okay, well let's pick. Well, I know these aren't the perfect bars, but ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so like right here we have 3 bars going down. I know these aren't your perfect bars, but I mean you know the ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, they would be second level because all three of those bodies close inside that green candle.
Oh, okay. Um, But anyway, so as far as matching up the 3 candle sell-off before the run up, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Any correlation between that and what you found on the stochastics?
I didn't actually compare them in that fashion because
Okay.
here with the stochastics, I'm looking for the relationship between the stochastics to give me a signal. You know what I'm saying? And then I go look at the charts.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just going back to look to see. Now, because the NASDAQ is a composite, you often won't see that three candle formation because
Oh,
it's a composite of a bunch of stuff.
yeah. Uh-huh.
You follow me? On an
What is,
individual stock, you'll see it because, if someone's trying to dump 100,000 shares of IBM, everybody in the world is like, why is this guy trying to dump all this stock? You know what I mean? Or all the big players. But on any type of a composite like this or the S&P, that three candle pattern doesn't show up as often.
is the NASDAQ 50?
I don't trade the Nasdaq, so I don't know, to be honest with you.
Uh,
Oh, how many
how many
instruments are
stocks?
in the Nasdaq? I don't know. And I bought a stock course that the guy's been bugging me, and I got the S&P course and I got the other Forex course that I never got to. So, um, but I've got them. So when I'm ready, I'll go take them and see what they're talking about. Um, Now, there was something you wanted to talk about, Daryl, back on this euro dollar.
Yeah, but I don't recall what it is now, so never mind that. I mean, everything else is starting to add up, and I'm trying to connect the dots and stuff like that.
All
So,
right. Look at
uh,
where this turnaround. Remember we called this turnaround yesterday? It was between the shelf and this double zero, and we believe that price is going to come down in this area between the shelf and the double zero, and then turn around. And I think we took this trade. But again, just thinking the market ahead of time, thinking things through. And I want to double check the settings on that other one because I may have crossed my settings up because on the other one, these things lined up perfectly. And this is euro dollar. Let me go back to Forex Brokers Inc. Let me come here and let me throw up a euro dollar. And oh gee, I don't even know where that was. Oh, that was current time. Oh, these candles are a little bit different here because it's a different feed. And this is a 15-minute chart. Let's make this a 15. And they should be similar now. Euro dollar 15. These are dramatically different. Let me stop jumping these around and squeeze this in, and then squeeze this in, and go here and put these side by side. Oh no, no, they're much more the same than I thought.
mm,
All right. Come on, cooperate. Doo doo. Um, so this low is in the middle of that, and this doji low is also in the middle. Okay, so they line up properly. Okay, so not much difference at all. This is a hanging man, which is a short signal here, but here we have the a green hanging man, red hanging man rather. So again, that goes back to just understanding your broker and its little quirks and idiosyncrasies, and don't get too bent out of shape that oh my broker's got a this and a that.
Lou, are you still trading that other account for what was it, a hedge fund or investor or something?
No, if you remember what happened, the guy was he was trading for commissions. So he was trading for commissions. He was basically trading for break even. So he didn't have to worry about wins or losses. As long as the account wasn't losing large amounts of money, he was making massive commissions because it was a $2.5 million account. Now,
Uh,
and what he did was he set up an IB under a different name, okay? And the IB would make a commission on all the trades. Now, the investor didn't know that he was the IB.
Oh, okay.
You
Wow.
got me? So the
Yeah, so
guys,
that's a
yes,
relationship to break off.
yeah. So the guy was trading back and forward just for break even, and or as close to break even as he could get, but the investor wasn't making any money. The IB was making a mint. You know, when you get like like anywhere from 75 cents to a dollar per pip per trade, and you're trading 20, 30 lots, that adds up.
Hell,
So right, and what happened was I would go in and trade, and what I would do. Let me go to Forex Brokers Inc. and do this so you could. I don't mess nothing up. Let me bring this over here. So what I would do in this case, where are we? 15-minute chart. I wonder why this thing always defaults back to this. That's something else I can't figure out.
just download a
Yeah.
new MP.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go short here, okay? Because I'm, X number of candles long, whatever the case is. I forget all this down here.
Yeah.
So I would go new order, and then you see where comments, I would put
Hmm.
in lou.com. I had an email address that I put in. All right. So now I'm going to sell. All right. And now when the guy, and I'll wait a couple of ticks just to see if it falls back. What is this, euro dollar?
Hmm.
1.7 spread. That's not bad. Raw without a premium account. So I'm just going to close the trade now. Should just so close the trade. All right. All right. Trade is closed. So now if I go into the account history and I turn on the comments button and I go back to that trade, you see it says lou.com. And I put that in there. So if this investor wanted to know why I did this, who's making these decisions, they could contact me directly because I believe in complete openness, as you guys see. All right.
Hmm.
My friend saw, and I made a few trades and made a few $1,000s. And my friend had uh, a fit. Okay, why'd you put this in here? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. And if we do this, then the guy's going to want to see account histories and blah blah and all this other nonsense. So I said, well, I'm just being honest. If he wants to know why this happened, this is why. His long-term fear was that he's trading back and forward basically for commissions. Didn't really care if the account made any real money. And then
Hmm.
here's somebody else making trades that are actually making money. He was afraid that the investor would see this, contact Lou.com, and then deal with me directly, leaving him out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And he lost it when he saw this with the trades. Then the other thing that irked me, I would make, let's say, 6 grand, in the account on a day, which is nothing when you're trading, upwards of 20 lots.
Sure.
Um, and then the next day he would have lost it, because he's just back and forward doing his thing for commissions.
Hmm.
So it was just frustrating. And then that whole thing with he didn't want the guy to know, he wanted to hide. He just didn't want the guy to ever have any chance of talking to me. And I
Hmm.
wasn't interested in going behind his back, but I really believe in being see, I should have held on to that trade. I just wanted to be open. So it just wasn't worth the money. And then the other time, I had a sizable account. Um, two of the investors actually had a habit of calling me. Like, you see how I went short here? All right. And let's say this trade goes for like 6 or 7 pips, and I just take the profit or whatever. I get a phone call, the guy would say, "Listen, you had a nice 1, 2, 3 here. Why didn't you take the 1, 2, 3
Oh,
long?
shit.
You could have made X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
And I explained to him, well, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Because of risk management. I'm cutting my lot size down a little bit and blah blah blah. Okay, okay, okay. Then I take another trade, and let me just find another example here of like the type of shit I get a call on. Oh, here's a perfect one. Perfect. Let's say that I decide to go short on a close No, no, no. Let's say I decide to go long right here. Just bounce off of the 200 or 89, and I make like whatever it is, 30 pips. I'll get a call, and the guy will say, you missed the perfect head and shoulders here. Look at this. There's the head. There's the left shoulder. There's the right shoulder. Why didn't you take that trade? Fuck the fact that I made him money. That meant nothing to him. Is why didn't I trade it the way he traded it? It's like that Las Vegas joke about a husband and wife. Husband was a poker player for many, many years. He and his wife go to Las Vegas, and she doesn't want to sit around in a smoke-filled room watching guys, smoke cigars, play poker, and curse. So he gives her like 500 bucks. Go to the slot machines or a blackjack or something. So she goes. Then they meet later for dinner. And the husband's like, well, how'd you do with the blackjack table? And then the wife's like, I lost the $500. And he said, oh my God, didn't you have any kind of a system, blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And she said, well, how did you do? He says, I lost about 5 grand. And he says, you lost 5 grand? And he said, yeah, but I know what I'm doing.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, you get that?
Mhm.
So that was one. So then I just stopped trading with that guy because he knows what he's doing. That's why I have to trade his account.
Yeah. Talk about micromanage, huh?
Yeah, it just got to be, and in being open, most traders will never give you their home phone number, ever. Most account managers won't anyway. And I'm very much the opposite. You can always reach me with a question, da 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 da. And it was just, and for my share of the 20%, it was like I was making the whole 20%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
20% of the profit. For my share of that wasn't worth it just, no, wasn't worth the headache.
Well, I don't know. I think that kind of flies in the face of the rules that I saw in Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know. I saw the movie. I'm just trying to get a beat on what you're saying.
I'm just yanking your chain. That's all.
Oh, got it, got it. Okay. Yeah, see, I could have stayed on, could have held on to this. But again, and that's just knowing price action. One, two, three, four in a row. I'm going to go short. We should get a pullback here. Bounce off of this. It wasn't hard to think, wasn't hard to see. Um, keep it simple. I just want to look around for a trade while we're here. This is also a divergence, but we don't have the 2 points. We only have this corner here. Let me get rid of this. Damn it. And I didn't save it as, oh, I did save this one as a template here, I think. No, I didn't. Son of a gun. I got, oh, you know what? I'll just close this and I'll go back to this one. Euro dollar, same thing. Where what was that, a 5 minute chart? Yeah, this looks a little bit different. Anyway, I thought there was a divergence here, but, oh yeah, here it is from here to here. Or from here, this point, which I'm not completely thrilled about, to there. I prefer that these things match up, but from here to there, and then from here to here, and let me just draw it out. And then again, this thing defaults back to this. But here's my point. From there to there. So those are the 2 points I'm going to use. That's my other point for my arrowhead. It's not perfect, but I just want to draw it out because it's here to see. So from here to here, all right, and then I draw out my not so perfect point here. And now at this point, I'm looking for a red candle in here somewhere. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah, I see that, but that you wouldn't normally take that since it's not
No, no,
rock.
I prefer, yeah, exactly. But I'm just showing you that they are there. And if we go down to a 5, it might be more visible. Um, nah, not necessarily so. Trend line delete. Okay, so let me do this the right way now. Okay. Now my bias on this is long because I'm above the 50 now.
Okay.
So even though this thing went short, I'm looking at a hookup, for the 50 is how I would be playing that. Let me just see if we have any kind of a trade here. We kind of spent a bit of time going through other stuff, but that was important also. Here we're at the end of the day's range, and this it looks like it wants to go long. I don't have a divergence here to work with. And I'm trying to use this signal. The bias here is still short because we're way down here,
Hmm.
but we're at the end of the range from the previous day. So that could go long. I have to wait to see something here with some divergence or whatever to take it. And again, I see the 1889s, I see the price traps, I see all the other stuff. But if this is the only thing we're trading, then this is the only thing we're trading. This is a long setup right here. We've got some room on this. That's our hook. The close of this candle could be a trade. So let's look at Aussie and US dollar. Yeah, the close of this 5 minute candle would be a long trade. I jumped the gun on one yesterday, even though it worked out, it was the wrong thing to do. And again, we are looking at a price trap situation here. Let me bring this down. And you notice we had a little price trap here and price exploded out of it. We had this red price trap here. Price exploded out. Now we've got another price trap here. My thinking is that if we get this candle closes green, this should explode up and we've got some room to move. We did 90 yesterday, only 60 today. So we're just waiting for this close.
So does the fact that there's a recent 50 crossover, does that enhance your wanting to go long?
Well, yeah, and it always does. And the fact that just because we're oversold, overbought, doesn't mean that this thing is going to instantly turn around right this minute. All right. I don't see any real divergence here. And again, I need to double check these settings. We've got a little, no, that's going higher. Everything else is going higher. Did we just get a new candle? Or is that the same candle? No, it's the same
Same.
candle. Yeah, we don't have a hook. We don't have a hook set in here yet. Yeah, so just because this is overbought, doesn't mean that it's ready to turn. When it turns, it'll give us some divergence and a trend line break. And right now, if I had to draw a trend line on this to look for that, this would be the trend line until we get another one. You got me? Now, if this makes a hook in here somewhere, then I'll adjust this trend line from here to there like we do with the 1889. But I got to wait for this candle to close and then we'll take I'm hoping it doesn't shoot up 20 pips right in the last minute because that would kind of suck because those are pips I like to have in my pocket. And again, it's my discipline to wait for the end of the candle. If you get enough confidence with the system, you feel you want to get in early right now, go for it. But it's just my discipline. And as you can see, it doesn't matter what the system is. It's the same. Certain things are always the same. You wait for your setup. You don't trade anything except your setup. And you cut your lot size if you're not super happy with the trade. And if you have a trade that doesn't pan out, don't worry about it. You'll get it all back. And it literally doesn't matter what indicators I have on the chart. Those things are like the cornerstone. And I heard my phone downstairs ring, and my daughter's supposed to be coming in from college to drive with us to Ohio. And
What,
then she,
the one that's out on the left coast?
excuse me,
Your daughter that's on the left coast working?
by, I should have bumped up my lot size, damn it. Um, I'll take two. No, my daughter on the left coast, she's going to fly directly into where we're all meeting.
Okay.
for Thanksgiving. And my other daughter that's in Stony Brook, I should put these right at the same spot. Oh, I can't do that yet. Put this up here. All right. And then put my stop down at the same place also. Let's bring this by. What is that? 20? Oh, hell no. 13 right there, that little shelf. And shit, which one did I move? Can't tell.
You need to open your window down below there.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to
Oh,
increase the lot size and I didn't.
so
So I
your
just
one
took,
doesn't have a stop loss on it,
oh,
or
shoot.
or a take profit.
Hmm. So which one would that be? Is the first one? No, it's the same one.
So it's
So
the
it must be
second.
the second one then. There we go. And the bottom one has to come down. Okay. I got it damn near to the pip. All right. But you see what I did? I wanted to increase the lot size and it didn't happen, so I quickly took another trade. So now you see what's happening here. This may make a hook here. And then I would adjust the trend line. And then if some divergence shows up later to get the counter trend, I might try to go for that. Um, okay, so we're just gonna, all right, let me look around at some other charts while this is cooking. And let's see, we have Aussie, pound CAD. Pound CAD might be one we might have some interest in. And this, what pair is this? Aussie dollar, put that up at the top. Pound CAD, let's take a look at that. Pound CAD is definitely short, but we missed whatever opportunity was in here. That was a great opportunity right there and right there. Mm,
Draw the trend line on that, would you? Because I think I see it, but I'm not sure.
okay. Well,
From
just
the
the raw trend line would be this.
Oh, okay.
That would be right here. Or let's say
And
on that doji.
the divergence.
I don't see a divergence. There's a
Oh,
little bit of divergence here, but this is
hmm
this is with the trend. So the only time I'm looking for divergence is if I want to take a counter trend trade. Remember,
oh,
this is short. We're biased short. Even
yeah.
though traditional thinking says that this is going to go long at some point, I agree. But I'm not moving this until it gets up here above the 50.
Well, can I show you something on here and ask a question about it?
Sure. Do you have the mouse still? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so what I'm seeing down here looks like the divergence, but maybe you don't want to go this way.
Well,
This is
it's not the most recent.
no, I mean just for
Oh,
historical,
just for okay, okay.
and that's this one, I guess.
Yeah,
I
kind of.
I think so. So then that would mean a short, a break, basically a break of. Oh wait, it
You're
doesn't play out down below there, does it?
yeah, you're overthinking it again.
Okay, that's fine. I just saw the divergence there and was wondering.
Yeah, the key to the divergence is to always look for the absolute points here. And these don't necessarily line up because I have it set to a super fast number. But this is short, but we don't have a short signal, so and it'll be a while before we get a short signal, it looks like. And what is this? Pound CAD. So our meter helped us out, and we did have a trend line break for an entry. And that would be the alternative entry that you had mentioned before, too. If you didn't have a regular entry, you could certainly look at that trend line break. And it came out of a price trap, this red candle. And usually the first candle after it breaks out of a price trap has some push to it. So it did everything the way price action says it should do it. So that was all good. Let's see what else we have. That was pound CAD. Let's take a look at the Euro Aussie or Euro CAD. Let's take a look at Euro CAD. Well, exact same scenario. Had we been, now you see where we crossed the 50 here? So now I want to take this peak, and this peak short. And this could give us a nice run down, but it's gone already. So we did miss a couple of, setups. Pound, euro, New Zealand.
Before you go, could I ask you on this one here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So first you had the divergence coming from here to here on the top chart, but you didn't get a red candle, so then you just extended from this here to this here.
We're only looking for divergence if we want to trade counter trend.
Yeah.
When we're with the trend, we're looking for our regular peaks. When we're with the trend, we're looking for these regular peaks like that, because this is down, pointing down, and it's below the 50.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to take this trade, let's say, then I'd start looking for like divergence. So like from here down here, we have lows, and then from here to here, we have highs. And then I'd want to put in my trend line break over my last two arrowheads right there, and this would be my short trade. You follow that? The only time we're looking for divergence is for counter trend trades. If we want to trade opposite the overall trend of the slower stochastic.
Your short trade was here?
Yeah. You want me to do it again?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't quite follow that, yeah.
All right. So we're looking at this point here, right? I want to go
Right.
point to point. So from this point to this point, we made highs. Okay, you good with that?
That point to that point.
We have a higher stochastic than here.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm matching it to this. You see that? Actually, it matches to this, but it'll give you the same concept.
Okay.
All right, and then from those same 2 points, we made lows. You with me on that? Now that our divergence is set, we now look for the last two arrowheads that we can draw a trend line on.
Okay.
All right, and that would be here and here. Those would be the two arrowheads. I would just extend that down. And now we're looking for a short trade, which could be this red candle, or this red candle, as a counter trend trade. Yes, no?
Wow.
As long as this is above 50, our main trades are long trades. As long as this is above 50, I'm looking to take long trades.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see a divergence in the long market. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, and maybe just you may want to lay off the divergence and just watch it a few times, because it seems to be
you said as a result you're taking a short trade.
right, because it's counter trend. The general trend is long because our slow RSI is above 50 from this point on.
Yeah.
So our A trades are always going to be long trades. If we want to take a counter trend trade,
Hmm.
remember we're only looking for long trades in here. All right. And ideally we want to see, these markers get below the 50, below the 20 level. And then we want to take that trade long as this is above 50. Do you, I don't know if that's getting any clearer for you.
Well, no, now you're talking about long trade, but you said this was a short trade.
It was a counter trend trade.
Right.
The market is long. So if you
Hmm.
if you're going to take a short trade, it's a counter trend trade.
Okay.
And what I was trying to explain before was the only way I would take a counter trend trade is I would have to see divergence and a trend line break. I need to see that combination.
Okay. So, but
Oh,
I'm
I see
seeing,
what's throwing you off here. No, 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 no. I from this point on, okay, my mistake. I drew the I see exactly where you're confused. So here, if I wanted to take a short trade, I would need to see from this point forward, I need to start looking for short candles.
yeah,
Yeah, and what happened was I drew it here and this candle had happened already.
yeah.
Okay, I see where the confusion was. Now the other way
Okay.
you could look at this too would be to go from here, this point to that point as a counter trend trade. So let me take these off and do this the other way. And it was the way I explained it, made it quirksome. But here you see, come on. Um, lost my, oh no, I didn't have a divergence here. I thought I had a divergence here and I didn't. A long divergence.
Well, I mean, so with that same thing you just had drawn there, I mean, I would have been from from this crossover, um,
Go
this
ahead.
crossover right down here. I'm not
You
going
would
to
have been looking
redraw.
for a long trade. No, I got myself crossed up in the explanation of it.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, I would be waiting, and as soon as I saw this candle, I'm long.
Yeah, then you
I
can
mean,
take a long
after.
trade. Well, keep in mind too, because this is still long.
Sure, sure. So
Right.
that's not counter trend, and that's with
No, but if you were to take a short trade, I would need to see. Oh, here it is. This is the divergence I was looking for. Uh, from here to here, prices went down,
mhm,
but from here to here, prices went up. You see that?
mhm.
That's what I would look for a counter trend trade. And there's my trend line break right there. So right in here, I knew I had it right, but I just
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So that would have been a good one. Well,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, news, which might have fucked you up, but yeah,
Yeah, well, if we took this entry and we had a 15 pip stop, it would have been close.
yeah.
But
The
you get
news,
the premise.
with the news, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and I explained it backwards there. All right. So okay, we got that straight. My bad on that.
So, are you still doing pharmaceutical breakfast, or is that the reason?
No, that's long gone. Now it's just fatigue more than anything else because I'm up late at night, working with guys with indicators and robots and working on programming tweaks and
Uh,
and I've got my whole domestic thing I have to do. My wife, she's off to her therapy today, so we've got that
uh,
straight so I don't get caught driving.
right. Yeah, incidentally, I you were gone, but I explained last week, I think, a trade thing that I was doing, and I just actually improved on it greatly this morning. But yet, when I was still trading it up through yesterday, and it's now my win loss is 30-1 on that sucker.
Okay, that's good.
And anyway,
Um, just want to see if there's anything else we can. Let's take a look at pound yen. Um, All right, what time is? Oh shoot, 10 o'clock. Damn. How long would it take to explain what you were looking at? And hang on a second. Pound is weak, yen is strong, so this should be dropping. And this is down below, so yeah, we'd be looking for a short trade here, but I don't see anything. Yeah, how long would it take to give it a quick explanation?
I could do a 5 minute thing that would more than explain it, I think.
Um, okay, so we don't have anything here. I'm just looking for something obvious we can get a bite on, but the uh, Aussie dollar still looks pretty good. Pound Aussie, let me just take a look at that. Pound Aussie. All right, well, that's doing what we expect. No, this should be going higher. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I'm getting dyslexic this morning. This should be dropping. And there was our short signal in there, short signal in there, short signal in there, and you'll see from this point on, all of these were pretty much winners, particularly the oversold ones, overbought. All right, let me make you a presenter, and make presenter. Let's take a look at what you're doing. Oh, I have to click the yes over here. All right, it should be switching over to you, Daryl.
All right.
I know there's going to be a bit of a delay.
Let me know when you can see my chart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, just for simplicity's sake, I was trading this on the 1 hour, and that's where for 7 days of trading, it was.
Well, explain what the indicators are first.
Okay. So the blue line is an 8 smooth moving average, which primarily I use as a potential target. The Bollinger Band is, okay, there we go. The Bollinger Band is 55, 2.5, and I use the bands indicator so I don't have to show the color on the center band. The default one will show the center band unless you put a moving average over it. Okay.
Well, the bands are a deviation off of what? Because you said
Well,
you're using Bollinger Bands and the bands.
it's just bands only. But bands is the same as Bollinger Bands. It's just that you have you can change the colors for each individual line, which I just have no color for the center line since I don't use it.
Okay, so what? So I heard you say Bollinger Bands. So you're only using what do the indicators list. Right click on the chart and then we'll do it that way.
Bands. So it's the same as Bollinger Bands. It just has the color, the color choices on it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was Bollinger Bands. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
Okay, okay.
And I like to see the price in an oversold, overbought as far as the daily range. That's why I have this on. But anyways, so it's a matter of selling on a touch of the Bollinger Band. In this case, it's right up here, and so price goes against me 15 pips, and on euro dollar every 15 pips, I add a new position, and I'll probably increase it by a factor of 0.5 or 50%. So if this was, you know, one, okay, well, things are small enough. Okay, so if my first trade was one lot, then my second trade 15 pips higher than there would be 1.5 lots.
Oh, so you're selling into the pullback.
I'm yeah, well, I'm selling. Yeah, well, I guess you could structure that sentence that way, and then taking profit depending on other factors, which might be support resistance or supply demand, et cetera, et cetera. And that's pretty much it.
Um, okay, can you drop a template in the room and the indicators? Then I can fire it up on a chart and give it some look-see.
Yeah. So let me do a couple of examples here of how this works
Okay.
out. So yesterday I was in. Okay.
You're on a Mac. Okay. What broker is
Yesterday,
that?
pardon?
What broker is that using?
This chart is on FXCM.
Okay.
All right. So this is. You can kind of see it here. Yeah. All right. So this is the deal. So this one here is on the right is a 30-minute chart. The one on the left was the 1-hour chart that I was actually trading yesterday. Okay, so on the 1-hour chart, here's what my trade progression was. It was 1.2, 1.5, 2, and then 4. I mean, because my initial breach of the 55 was right here, and so I sold 1.2. Up here, 15 pips higher, because this is a slower moving pair in the CAD, I sold 1.5, and then up here, now I'm at 2. It's continuing higher, so now I got to get serious and I go to 4. Incidentally, I haven't seen on the 1-hour this go to more than 4 positions before it comes back to some place where I can make some profit. And my exit yesterday was right here. When price came down to this level, I was in profit a total of maybe 15 or 20 pips. I didn't do the math in the whole thing, but that meant that these first 2 positions were losses, but this being a basket trade, it ended up positive. So that's generally how it works. Now, had I traded this on the 30-minute, which is over here on the right, right in this area, then what would have happened is there was not an entry on this candle because it didn't touch the Bollinger Band. This was the first touch right up here, so I would have had 1 entry only because this next candle only went up about 7, I think, 7 or 8. So there's no second entry, so I only have 1 position at risk, and I could get out down here someplace with some sort of profit. Now, the difference between these two is as consistent as this has been for me. Sometimes I got to take heat because I was also in the dollar peso yesterday, which did the same thing. It kept going in one direction. I had to put 3 positions on that one. So now I've got 7 positions out there, so my margin is starting to kind of go up. Whereas on these, usually on most pairs, now I'm not saying all pairs this is going to work this way because you have the CAD and the Swissy, which kind of, the CAD and the Aussie and the Kiwi, which can, bite you in the butt, particularly in these off hours between London close and Tokyo Open. But that means, like, instead of putting like 1.2 positions on a sell here, maybe I could do 3 or 4 or 5 and, increase my money with decreasing my risk. That's it.
Okay. Yep. I'm not a big fan of the adding on into drawbacks,
Yeah.
but this doesn't look that bad at all.
Yeah.
To look at
And
it over.
I've looked at a lot of charts. Let me go back to well,
This is not a Forex Factory thing, is it?
No.
Yeah, it's got a familiar look to it, and I could be thinking of somebody else using regression channels or something. Because
Well,
I've seen something similar with the, like the linear regression channels
mhm,
where they add on, but the linear regression channels tend to be straight lines, and they add on, at each touch of the line.
yeah.
It's a little bit different, but go ahead.
So this is the euro dollar on the 30 minute, and this one looks just about perfect so far. And the advantage the 30 minute has over the 1 hour was in the 1 hour I was limited to the hours, let's see, New York time, of about 5 a.m. to really 9 a.m. So really there's a 4, maybe a 5 hour window that I want to accept any trades in, because on the 1 hour, if you end up going in these off hour times, I mean, you could get burned because price will just start to move in one direction, and it's still all above the Bollinger Band, yada, yada. But on these, at least on some of the pairs I've looked at so far, if you get a touch of the 55 Bollinger Band, you're probably only going to get one or two entries before you can take some profit out. And, I was studying that Q thing, which we talked about before, the quantum, and that was a whole thing where, every time you got a new quantum, which is basically a zigzag footprint, and so it left them behind. You'd have a box, a box, a box showing a new quantum. You'd take another sell, sell, sell. Well, the problem with that is there was no extremes involved. So I knew that there was something in there. And that's why I discovered this just by watching some stupid ass 5-minute video on YouTube because I was bored one Friday afternoon. And the video itself was worthless, is what the guy was trying to explain. But I just started throwing stuff up there. And the 55 was the one that stuck to the wall, 55 Bollinger Band.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So if you get a chance, drop the indicators and a template,
Okay.
then we can throw it up and give it a look, see if there's some things we can do to, at least for me anyway, make it a bit safer.
Safer, yeah.
That's just me. Like I know me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. So let me, okay, let me just blow this up real quick then, right here. Say for instance, now this is after hours, which, I mean, after London close, which, I'm probably not going to trade in here too much because we're going to get into rollover time, and then the spreads get all crazy and stuff. But let's say, for instance, I made an entry here on this touch, 55. Um, and on a first entry, if I get a turnaround right away, in this case it was 7 pips less the spread, so it's 5 pips, I'll probably take it on the first touch.
Okay.
So now I'm waiting for, since I'm out up here, I'm waiting for another touch, which would have been 15 pips below here, which barely comes, well, it comes in right here. I'm still going to keep the 15 pip distance between entries. That comes in right down here, and this one immediately went into profit, which whatever I wanted to take there, 5 pips, 10 pips, doesn't matter.
All right. Looks interesting. Looks interesting. Yeah, so when you can drop those, I just want to go back to this trade and make a decision on this. What do I have to do? I think you have to make me the organizer again.
There you go.
Okay, good enough. Now I want to go back to this. Everyone see my RC dollar?
Yeah.
All right, so it's been dancing around here sideways for a little bit. Uh, I took a look at the higher time frame charts to get a beat on what I want to do with this as far as a set or forget. And if I go out to the 30, I see that I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles long, and this is setting up for a pullback. See that?
Yeah.
All right. And if I go out to a 1 hour, again, it's a nice long run up, even on the 15. You see where we're setting up for a pullback here. So I don't know if I want to sit through that ride or not. And my thinking is that the pullback will probably stall out at this area here, only because we've got a little shelf here, and I'm taking some of this wick into account. So I'm thinking somewhere in this pocket. So we'll see if I want to hold on to this or not because of that. But let's see what happens when it comes down here. If it comes down here and doesn't look like it's going to turn around, then I may bail on it. And it never got into any real profit. I think it got up to about 2 pips each or so at some point. But again, looking at that 15, I mean that's ready to make a turnaround, even though we're still pretty strong in our correlation here between the dollar and the Aussie.
Yeah. It's like the time has come.
Yeah. But we'll give it a look to this. But it's 10:15. I am going to, let me see where we are now. This is $30. This would be less than $100 if it went all the way out, so I'm not worried about that. And we'll see what happens here. And this shelf might be a nice scalp opportunity if it gets down that far. But what I'm going to do, Phil, if you could keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. And if anything, slide the stop up, but I'm going to hold on to it because we still got this strong correlation. And I don't know what the stock market is doing at the moment. So if the dollar, gets a bite of weakness, then this thing could certainly go back up. But I can't sit here. I do have a lot to get to, and I have to see why my phone was ringing. But I will be in touch, via Skype or whatever. You guys have any questions or anything, definitely, shoot them to me. And I'll try to log in from where I am in Ohio, even though I may not have these charts or something. Maybe I can bring the numbers with me to log in. But we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, you guys, what's that?
Just enjoy yourself. Don't worry about this stuff here.
Yeah, well, I like this, so it's not a worry. It's just I like doing it, But in the meantime, you guys enjoy yourself, and I will be in touch in the meantime. And I will be back the following Tuesday. All right.
Okay, very good.
And I'll make sure the videos are all updated and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really like this one today. It's really good.
All right. I will talk to you later. Be well.
All right. Have a good trip, Luke.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.